Okay, hello, this is Wmpyr. Recently, I've been talking so much about the assault tactics. I figure this would be a good video where I try to wrap things up. All right. Um, so let me go to this real quick. What you're seeing here is the diamond defense that my student is doing. He is using the defense bag, and as you can see, I am giving him some random attacks. The beat, the rhythm that I'm using also is it's not choreographed. It's not predictable. You know what I mean? I'm trying to make it more natural. I'm attacking when I want to, when I feel like. It's not one, two, and then your turn, and then one, two, or it's nothing like that. I'm just going when I want. Um, so this is all just trying to make it just a little bit more realistic. I'm not like going all out crazy or anything, but there are times where I rush at him, with the knife, and it's just all part of training. You're feeding different kinds of energy, but the main point here is that this works. This is working because he is defensive. All right. That's a key word. He's defensive. That's why it works. And I know in today's self-defense world, we hear so much the opposite, that if you are defensive, um, that's going to get you killed. And the way that they're defining defensive is like, you're defensive, you're hesitant, you're reactionary, so you're always late. They're defining the word defense in a negative limelight. And the way that I'm telling you is that if you're defensive in a positive way, proactively, that it could work very well. That defense makes sense in combat. There is a time in combat where you absolutely need defense. And to say that defense will get you killed is yeah, only if you're doing defense wrong, you know. So him moving away, and notice he goes off camera right there, it's because he's maintaining distance. And that is so important, and that is proactively doing something defensively. So you're not just, oh, I'm just going to let this person attack me and I'm going to get killed. No, you are, when the attack comes way too close, then the defense back comes into play. In reality, right here, we start to think of, okay, to make the technique work, to use the technique properly, the bag needs to hit the knife, and the answer is no. And I know we go, well, if the bag doesn't hit the knife, then wouldn't the knife hit us? And it's like, no. If you're close, then yeah, that's a possibility, and that's why you don't want to be close. So if you're far away and you miss, it don't matter because you're far away, because they can't reach you, and that's exactly what we're going for. So the best thing, what I'm trying to tell you guys, is no contact at all. I want to avoid contact. It's not I want to meet their knife with my bag perfectly and then the technique works. I'm not here to test the technique in real life, right? You could do that in practice, but in real life, you don't even want them to get that close, ideally. But if it does happen, well, you've been practicing that. The best thing is evasion, not blocking. Okay, blocking only happens when they come in too close, which means you screwed up your footwork. You messed up. You didn't keep your distance properly. So I want you guys to start viewing it that way. I know that's a new way to view things, but that is the way to view it. Okay, so anything where you're in reach of them and you could counterattack them and you could hit them, those are all, from my viewpoint, you screwed up, you messed up, you allowed this person to get that close to you, or they charged in and you should have been running away, or you should have been doing everything you can to keep your distance, and you were, for one reason or another, unable to. So to me, you already messed up. To do the diamond defense properly, you need to have the distance. It's all about distance, okay? Um, so now let me go into, this is the second part, right? So I already explained that the first one, that what you saw just now, that where I'm attacking with the knife, that is when the person is in motion. In other words, they are in mid-attack. They are attacking you. So this right here is a completely different scenario where the person is stationary. So as you can see now, we switched, and my student is the one with the knife, and my student is going to attack me. And at this point, I've already surrendered. I said, hey, I don't want any trouble. I'm in a bad position here. And then, but their knife is not moving. They're not attacking me. They're like, I got this person. I'm in a powerful position, and I have this person compromised. And now I could negotiate what I want. I could negotiate my terms. They are at my mercy, is what the other person is thinking. And then we go to number two. So number one, the requirement is they need to be stationary. Absolutely. Okay. And then also at this point, I have to convince them that I am not going to fight back. Because if not, they will go back. It'll come back to this. And I definitely don't want that at this close of a range. All right. So if I think they're going to start attacking me with a knife, I'm going to start backing away. I'm going to create that distance. But if I'm pretty sure that they feel like they got me, and I'm letting them know that I'm not going to do anything, then I could inch up closer and closer. Okay. Or they'll start coming in to get more control, and I'm going to allow it. Why? Because I want number two. The closer, the better in this case. So I hope you guys can see the dynamics here. This one, the further away, the better. Okay? And this one, the closer, the better. So the first one is you're in striking range. This one, you're in grappling range. Okay? So because this is close range. This is the clinch. The clinch, the close range, the definition is you're close enough to grab. You're close enough to grab the other person. And the other person is obviously close enough to grab you. Right? So I grab their wrist. Right? So it's the wrist grab. Number three is the arm wrap. I go really rapidly from the grab to the wrap. This has to be practiced. You have to feel it. And once you get it, it can become like butter. All right, it can become very, very smooth, and it can become very natural for you, but you do have to practice it. Okay, so you go from the wrist grab to the arm wrap, and then without hesitation, immediately start wrenching that. Okay, and it's what we call in wrestling an overhook. All right. And I just realized I just said it's what we call in wrestling. It sounds like I'm a wrestler. That would be an insult to wrestlers, so I'm not going to say that. As someone who admires and respects wrestling, grappling, all right, I'm going to say that is what you want to do. You want to immediately go from the arm wrap, which is more secure, onto the arm wrench. And both of those is what is called an overhook. So in grappling, there's an overhook and an underhook. Those are the two main arm positions in grappling. Okay, and there's a wonderful drill called pummeling, and this is for amateur wrestling, Olympic wrestling, folk style wrestling, Greco-Roman and freestyle wrestling, they all practice pummeling. And pummeling helps you, you know, it helps you get the underhook, but it also sometimes you end up in like an overhook type situation. So pummeling is an excellent drill, and it teaches you that the underhooks are basically, that's what you want, that it's better. Okay. Um, but in this case, this is an overhook, so this is kind of cool because in a defensive situation, you actually going for something that is the easier one. The underhook is the better one, but overhook is kind of easier one to get, right? So you're going for the overhook. You immediately start wrenching them to off balance them because look at number 3. He is totally in position to attack me, headbutt, punch, knee me in the balls, you know, or even start grappling and maybe go for a takedown or a throw or something, or just swing me around again and slam me against the wall or the ground, maybe pick me up, and I am light enough and he is strong enough. So at that point, if I start wrenching, look at number 4. Look at his body posture. It messes up his whole body posture, and that's what I'm looking for. And then immediately from there, I'm going to go for the finger lock. Now, from 1 to 2, obviously, it has to be at the right time. Is more important than speed. Yes, you got to be fast, but more than anything, it's the right time. From 2 to 3 to 4 is all speed. And the speed is natural speed. So as long as you don't grab his wrist and then freeze up and go, oh, I caught his wrist. Don't do that, obviously. And if you're not used to it, that can totally happen. No, you grab the wrist and you go, oh no, I need to immediately go to number 3, which is the wrap. So you immediately go to the wrap. From the wrap, you immediately start wrenching. So it's not like, oh, I got to be like Bruce Lee fast. No, but you got to be smooth, quick, because it has to go one after the next. All right. You can't have that pause. Okay. Because when you're pausing, that's also giving them a time to react. And we don't want that. We don't want that reaction time. It's not a chess match. This is one-sided. So, but number 5, when you go to the finger lock, this is also timing. Okay. So it's not, you got to go as fast as possible. It's not that kind of speed. So number 5 is when you feel that their grip has been compromised enough, their posture, their structure, their skeletal system is compromised enough that you feel them getting weak, okay, then you go for the finger lock. All right? Because if this person on number 5 is like more like facing me and their other hand is grabbing my hoodie, or maybe they're trying to punch me, or they're pushing me, trying to get their arm free, then I wouldn't go for the finger lock. I might go for something else. Okay, I might try to create more of that space, and that's where I call the cheese grater technique would come in, and I would grind their face, get them to back off, and immediately go back to number 4. And then when I get the chance, I'll go to the finger lock once again, right? Because a finger lock is a very powerful technique that is a pain compliance hold. So that is a nice technique to try to subdue my opponent, okay? But if not, from number 4, after I wrench them, I might be able to just let go and run away. So, but in the meantime, I am trying to de-escalate them. Okay, so what I'm doing here in the photos are very clear. They look like offensive grappling moves, but in a real life situation, it just looks like that I am trying to gain control of the situation. So it doesn't look like I'm fighting. It's different from let's have a grappling match, and let's see who's the better grappler. Then that's very competitive. That's very offensive. That's not what I'm doing here. Once again, I'm trying to gain control of the situation and not to land a throw or a submission. No, it's to diffuse the situation. That is the main point. The finger lock is, I'm trying to discourage them and like I said, paying compliance, right? In the street, if I did a submission, I'm breaking their arm. I'm putting the person to sleep. I'm going for the finish. You know what I mean? So this is, I don't expect the person to be finished. Let's say I broke his finger. Let's say I went that far. I don't expect him to be done with that. With enough adrenaline, he should be fine. Is the way that I see it. You're a tough guy, right? You should be fine. So, okay, and then the next one here is me working on the reflex bag. Okay, so oh wow, this is when I still had the punching bag stand, and from the punching bag stand you could see the wheelbarrow tire is being hung right there. But here I am using the reflex bag, and I'm practicing Filipino martial arts moves right here. Okay, and what I want you guys to see is that the wonderful thing about training with something like this is that it moves. I like that it moves. So in real life, your opponent is going to be moving. So then you have to work on timing. But also, when it comes back, when it bounces back, that's an attack. All right. So right here, boom, I'm working on, yes, empty hand skills, right? Boom, 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 boom. And then when it comes back, you can see that I am giving it an elbows. Well, I gave it an elbow strike, and then right there, I defended their attack with an elbow strike, right? So I countered. It's a destruction. Boom, right there. That's an elbow, an upwards elbow, right? So I attack with a horizontal elbow, and then I receive with a vertical elbow. Boom, right there, right? Now, in a real life situation, that can be, he has a weapon. So he could have a lead pipe or he could have a knife. So do you understand? If I'm fighting this guy, if I'm fighting them, what I'm doing here is fighting skills. This is Filipino martial arts for full contact fighting. That's what I'm training, and I did that for a long time because, the way that I see it is, if you can't even do it in full contact within those rules, limited rules, how are you supposed to do it in the street where there are no rules? So in full contact fighting is a great place because I could feel full resistance. The other person's trying to hurt me, trying to beat me. They're resisting with everything they got. This is a great testing ground. It's a testing ground like no other. No other. It's a great simulation if you want to feel real force, and in a more safer manner. Because if we did that with weapons, oh, it's brutal. So, and there are some crazies out there that do that. but here, in the realm of full contact, I was able to test out a lot of the Filipino martial arts techniques and see what does it look like against a fully resisting opponent, or what happens when I really blast this destruction or this gunting technique or whatever. When I do the heaven six on someone for real, what does it look like? What happens exactly? And a lot of the stuff that was taught, unfortunately, not that the techniques were bad, but the way that it was explained was horrible. It was almost garbage, right? Where they say, okay, so the guy throws an attack at you, and you're going to do this and hit their ulnar nerve, and then the arm is going to be useless, and you won the fight right there. This is like, to rely on that and to think that that's going to happen every time, which the way they teach it almost sounds like it. You do this and now their fingers are broken, or you do this and now you broke their arm or whatever. It sounds like a guaranteed automatic thing. You destroy their arm, you defang the snake, and they cannot hurt you anymore. And this was just, for me, it was like ridiculous, right? I learned from a dream, never rely on the outcome of a technique. So when you're doing a technique, you should expect it to fail, and you're already ready for the next and the next and the next. You know what I mean? So, because if you're relying on the technique to work, and then like the worst case scenario is you do one of those walkaways that Mark Hunt is known for, you go, okay, I knocked him out, and you turn your back and you walk away, and you didn't. And you didn't, right? That is exactly what you don't want. So, don't ever put yourself in that situation where that can happen. All right. Um, so, like I said, every time the bag swings back towards me, that's an attack. And because that is an attack, and in real life they could be using weapons, there's no way that I want to receive the attack right there, doing this kind of thing. Okay. Because I'm making myself vulnerable to that. And every time I'm hitting them, when I'm making contact, they can also hit me. So even if I'm dominating and I'm getting all the prime targets, the major targets, they might be getting me in minor targets. They might be slashing like crazy at my arms at this point. So fighting techniques definitely have their place, but it's not something that is my plan A. I hope you guys can understand that. So every time I attack, I am vulnerable, guys. I am vulnerable. So yes, I practice it. I practice it so I understand all this, so that I understand when's a good time to attack, when is a bad time to attack. And really, really, I am seeing that you really don't want to be attacking at all. Okay, so it's like when is the best time to attack? When they're not attacking back. Well, how can you guarantee that? When they're asleep, when they're taking a nap, when they're in the restroom. Those are the best times to attack, not when they're fighting back. That's the worst time to attack. All right, and so most people's ideas, conceptions of it, of attacking, is at the worst time. And if you're talking about a self-defense situation where the other person came up to you because they go, oh, this guy's going to be a victim, right there, they chose you. That's maybe even worse than a fighting situation, because they're already like setting up their trap on you. They know that you can fight back. They know that you can run away. So they have all that in their mind, and they're trying to set you up into this trap. And believe me, they are ready to fight and pound you into oblivion. Actually, what they're ready to do is really an assault. So that's the kind of situation you're going to be hopefully not walking into, but that's the kind of situation that can happen in a real life. And so at that time, I'm supposed to be fighting. And it sounds brave and noble, but it just doesn't fit the puzzle. Okay, at that time, you should be running away. You should be running away. And yeah. Well, one thing is like, okay, if for some reason, right, for some reason, I need to use assault tactics on the bad guy, right? Like this. Look at this right here. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Look at that. If I do this to somebody, right, and I'm in a position where I'm like, okay, I need to do this to somebody. Oh boy. What Captain Fairbairn showed was basically, I have a knife and the other guy doesn't. And I'm going to do this to them. I'm going to boom and explode this onto them. It's game over. This is an assault, people. And what I'm doing here is basic Heaven 6. There's nothing special about this. It's just run-of-the-mill Heaven 6. Anyone that does Filipino martial arts learns the Heaven 6. Now, just because you learn it with the double sticks doesn't mean you could do it in reverse grip in the knife like so. Doesn't mean that you'll be able to do it with a real blade, it doesn't mean that you'll be able to actually, um, be brutal enough and vicious enough to actually do this on a real person. I mean, all that, comes into play, of course. But this is run of the mill Heaven 6. You guys learned this. I learned it on day one in my training. Okay. But this is your assault right here. So if I'm in a situation where I need to do this, kill or be killed, right? The first thing is you need to know the context of the situation. You need to know when it's okay for me to do this. All right? When is this acceptable? And Captain Fairbairn makes that very, very, very clear in his book. I mean, obviously, it's for soldiers. His book is for soldiers. And he does also say that, yes, it's also for civilians for self-defense when you are walking a dark alley at night. So both of those to me are crystal clear situations. If for some reason you're walking in a dark alley at night and somebody approaches you, there's no reason they should approach you, but at that situation, you could assault them. Okay, because chances are they were going to assault you. They had something horrible in mind for you. So, wow. Captain Fairbairn makes it very easy and it makes it clear to me. So I can respect that. A lot of self-defense instructors today that I've seen, they teach you, this assault tactics, right? And they go, this is the best for self-defense. And by best, I think they're confusing the word with like one of the most powerful techniques, right? This is the most brutal, powerful, vicious thing that you could do to somebody. Okay, I get that. And then they teach the student and they go, this is only for extreme circumstances. All right, I can understand that too. And they don't define the extreme circumstances. They go, okay, so hopefully you never have to use it. If you do, good luck. That sounds clear, maybe? It may sound clear, but it's not. What is an extreme circumstance? Tell me, what's the situation where I need to use this? Captain Fairbairn made it clear. A dark alley at night or on the battlefield. That's easy. I don't have to think twice. I just do it. I'm a soldier on the battlefield and I see another person that's close enough, then boom, I'm going to assault the guy. It makes sense. It makes sense, okay? But if you don't give the context and you don't define it and you just teach the techniques, this is like buying a bunch of assault rifles and you go, yeah, it's for home defense or it's whatever, but it's for self-defense. What scenario are we talking about? How exactly are you going to use it? We don't know. We don't know. So the biggest problem I have with that is that it puts you in a situation where maybe the instructor thinks they're doing you a favor and they're going, well, there's a million different scenarios. So I'm letting you, it depends on your situation. So I'm letting you decide. And that to me is the downfall. That to me is the mistake. Because if you have to make that decision right then and there, that's what they're telling you basically. You have to make this, it's only for extreme situations, but you go, is this the extreme situation or is it not? Is it? And I could tell you, there's only been like twice in my life, okay, and me being 49 years old, right? Twice in my life where I said to myself, this is an assault situation. I'm going to use assault tactics. And both of those were home invasions. Okay, I was living in a crummy apartment and someone was trying to break in. So at that point, I'm ready to defend myself. And when they walk in, I'm not asking questions. I'm not nothing. They're going to be assaulted. Because I don't know if they're going to come in with, guns blazing. I don't know. So they break into my apartment. I'm assaulting them. No questions asked, right? We'll talk later afterwards. but I'm taking you out as fast as I can. So it was home invasion situations, all right? Me personally. All the other situations I've been in, the assault tactic did not fit in. I can tell you that. And I've been in extreme situations. Like one time, I remember I had a shotgun pulled to my head. This guy was next to me, took out a shotgun and pointed it at my head. I don't know this guy. And I didn't do anything to him. It is just some crazy punk ass, kid took out a shotgun, thought it was funny, and well, I mean, he wasn't laughing or anything, but he was threatening me and did that. I don't know what the hell his problem was. Obviously, he has big problems. That's sociopathic behavior. He did that. So at that point, did I think, oh, I need to assault the guy? No. I thought to myself, I need to survive. What can I do to survive? How can I escape this as fast as I can? How can I get away from here? That's what my brain was thinking. All right. When I had the chance, get the hell, run for your life. That's what that was. Okay. So no, assault did not even occur to me at that point. Here's another situation, and that's an extreme situation, right? I think you can agree. Another situation was this guy basically held me up. I didn't see the pistol, but there was a blanket on top of their arms, so it was covered up. But they're saying to me, "Give me some money," which was pretty much like, "Give me your money, or I'm going to shoot you." Right? So that was the message I got. So at that point, did I think, "Oh, I need to assault this guy"? No, no. I thought to myself, how can I survive this situation? How can I not die? That's what entered my mind. Not how can I take him out as fast as I can. No, it was how can I not die? And then the second thing was how can I give him what he wants and not give him all of my money? Because stupid me at that time, I had thousands of dollars. I had I don't know, at least $7,000 on me. For some reason, I was an idiot, right? I just came from the bank, and I was a moron, and I was on the bad side of town, okay, because I was just bad choice after bad choice, right? And I ended up there. And so, sure enough, this guy is doing that to me, and so that's what I was thinking. How can I outsmart this guy and live? Not how can I assault and take him out? No. And that was an extreme situation. There you go. All right. Here's another situation. Number three. I was in New York on the subway with this girl who is a doctor from India. Okay. And she was visiting. And so she's a doctor from India. And this guy, we're on the train together. And this guy sitting across from us, right across. And the trains are small. So he's like right there. All right. Massive person, human being. Massive, scary looking. He was giving her the death glare. So why? Obviously, she's not from there. So he doesn't know her. She doesn't know him. This guy was giving her a death glare. He is ready to pounce on her. And the only thing I could think of is he must have been a war veteran. He was in the Middle East and all of his buddies got killed. So, he thinks she's Middle Eastern, which she is not. But even if she was, what the heck? What does that have to do with, with that? She's that's not her, the people that he fought, just because it's the same bloodline, she could be born and raised in the US, right? So if you're going to attack her just because of the bloodline, then that means you're trying to do genocide. What the hell's wrong with you, right? You're trying to exterminate a race because a portion of those people did something horrible to you. I mean, yeah, it's obviously this person, is something wrong with them. But I don't know the facts there. I don't know why this person was giving her the hate glare, okay? And I mean, she wasn't sitting right next to me either, okay? So it couldn't have been like he thought that she was my girlfriend and he's jealous. No, that's not the situation, all right? So anyway, at that situation, what am I supposed to do? I need to protect her. This guy, I cannot fight. He's built like a tiger, and in comparison to him, I'm like a badger. There's no way I could fight this guy and gain control. He's just too big, too strong. Unless there's a major injury or this guy has never fought before in his life. But if you just judge a book by its cover, there's no way that I should win that one. There's no way that I could even hang with this person. All right. So that's the situation there. Do I assault the guy then? Right? Because it's an extreme situation. He's about to destroy her. So I need to, because I can't fight him, in order to protect her, I would have to assault him, right? So how would I do that? I would walk up to him slowly and act like I'm really hurt, and he's like, what the hell's going on? And then boom, just freaking go to town on him, right? That's what I would do. That's an assault tactic. That's the assault. However, it just didn't feel right. Even though I was like pretty sure he's about to attack her. And if he does, it's going to be really horrible. Even if he just slapped her as hard as he could, it would be devastating, right? I mean, with his size and his power, it would have been horrific. And I don't want that to happen to her, But it looked like he wanted to do a lot more than that. So at that point, I should just assault the guy, but it just didn't feel right. And I am in an extreme situation. So I told myself that, look, when he goes after her, which could happen any second now, and when it does, I'm going to intervene, so then he's going to be attacking me. And I'm going to do my best to protect myself and basically to stall enough time so that she could get away. That's all I can do. And hopefully I'm not going to get knocked out super quick. That's all I can do, right? I mean, I'll do my best to fight, I'll do whatever, but I'm taking on an impossible task here, right? So because I am putting myself where I have to fight him, which is, not jump him, but fight him. If I jumped him, I have a better chance, but I'm talking about I have to fight him. And fight him, I'm also being reactionary. He already knows I'm there. He already sensed my presence, so I'm sure he's thinking that as well. So when I come in, he's immediately going to probably try to sucker punch me. So, so even in that circumstance, extreme circumstance, the assault didn't feel right. And guess what? He never attacked her. Luckily, nothing happened. Nothing happened, all right? So if I had assaulted him, I probably would have just made things worse. And we're not even considering that he's trained. I'm just saying just from his size alone. So he could be trained. He could have a lot of skill. Who knows? He could have been a professional fighter. I don't know. And then we're also not even considering, what if he's armed? He could totally be armed, okay? But I was just talking about just his size alone. So that could have been a horrific situation. And if I had assaulted him. So once again, when is the right time to do the assault tactics? It needs to be clear. And if it's not clear, then you are left alone to make that decision right there on the spot, which is not good. That's not a good method. So I don't care how awesome the techniques that you learn are, assault-wise. If you don't have the context, like you don't know when to use it, then it's a useless tool. Like I said, it's like having a bunch of assault rifles in your home, but you have no idea when and how to use it. All right. And another example I want to give you guys, and this is so important, is the like I said, having the context and not having the context. If you don't have the context and you think in your mind that you're going to make such an important decision whether to assault someone or not assault someone, because you could end up killing them, or you could end up going um, to prison for the rest of your life, or or you might even you kill them and you go to prison for the rest of your life. It this is such an important decision that you're supposed to make right there on the spot, on the fly, under enormous pressure. And there's a lot of info that you're taking in, and a lot of those are distractions. Okay. So at that moment, to make such a huge decision is always a bad idea. Is always a bad idea. So that kind of game plan, and decision making should be already done. It should be pre-done before the combat situation occurs. In the combat situation, it should be nice and easy, like Captain Fairbairn told you guys, either in the battlefield or in a dark alley. If it's not, don't use it. Simple, very simple, right? So trying to make that decision during the situation where you're trying to figure out, is this the right time? Is this extreme enough? That is a horrible idea, is what I'm trying to tell you guys. A horrible, and you need to get that out of your minds. And a perfect example I could give you guys is what happened to me in my first street fight. This guy cornered me against the brick wall, and he said, "Do you have a problem?" And I said, "I sure do." And he goes, "What are you going to do about it?" And then at that point, I hit him in the body as hard as I could, and we immediately started brawling. So it was a fist fight. It was definitely an all-out brawl fist fight from there. Okay. And then at some point, he was pushing me away to make distance. Okay. Because I knew he wanted enough distance to sidekick me, and that was his favorite move. His sidekick, he bragged that he was sending people to the hospital in tournaments, because he was a black belt in karate, and so he wanted to crack my ribs. I know that, and send me to the hospital. So he was trying to create distance, and I did my best to charge in at that point, because I knew that's what he wanted. So I took away the distance. I charged in with punches, a flurry of punches. So I would like to say, yeah, think of the straight blast, or think of Wing Chun, and I charged in with a chain punch. No, this is brawling, okay? I was throwing haymakers as fast and as hard as I can, all right? And so I charged in like that, and he ended up balling up. He balled up in front of me, so he's on the ground in what wrestlers would call a turtle position. So he's balled up trying to protect himself, all right? So at that point, I was like, perfect. This is exactly where I want him. I can finish him now. Great. This is awesome, right? And then I was like, okay, do the finish. And it was almost like a video game where it popped in my head. Okay, let's stomp him on the back of the head. And I was like, no, that's a little too much. Okay, let's soccer ball kick his face. And I was like, no, that's a little too much. All right, then let's soccer ball kick him in the ribs. Nah, that's too much. Okay, I got it. Elbow to the back of the neck. What if he dies? All right, elbow to the back of the spine. Oh man, no, it just feels like it's a little too much, man. So all this is happening super fast, right? So in my mind, it was like A, B, C, D, and I was like, no, right? And then I made the wrong decision, and it basically ended up where he got up, he went to shake my hand, and he faked it, and he punched me in the eye. And the people that were watching said that my head went way back when he punched me. He punched me good, real good. So I totally screwed up there, is what I'm trying to say. Why? Because I had to make this decision, this very important decision right then and there on the spot. And trying to figure out what to do was making me hesitate. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. In a real life situation, if you have to figure out what to do, that method is not a good method. It's garbage. Okay? You don't want to be in that situation. You don't want to put yourself in that situation. You don't want a method that's going to put you in a situation where you have to make an extremely important judgment call right then and there. Right? What I should have been doing, right, once he was balled up, is like, for example, he could push off the ground with his hand and get right back up. So I should have kicked his hand out so he couldn't. I should have been trying to figure out, is it safer for me to go towards the head, or is it safer for me to go towards his butt? I need to, if I'm going to go towards his butt, I need to avoid his legs because he could kick me. And if I'm going to go towards his head, I need to avoid his arms because he could grab my ankle. So those are the things that I should have been busy thinking about. I'm busy doing stuff. I'm actively trying to improve my situation, trying to make it safer for me, better for me, and worse for him. I should have been breaking his balance, still keeping mine while remaining standing and solid, and trying to keep the distance, looking for the exit, seeing if his buddy's right there or what. I should have been doing those things. I should have been busy instead of trying to figure out in my head what is the right course to do. So I was farting around in my brain in la la land instead of proactively making action. And like I said, if I'm all I'm doing is backing away and trying to get away, that's proactively making an action. That's a good thing, all right? So, or if I'm running, I'm actually running. That's an active action. So I want you guys to understand that 100%. So the assault tactics, that Captain Fairbairn teach, I'm 100% for it. I like what he teaches. It makes sense to me. But I'm also telling you guys that's for a very specific situation that is very ultra rare and will probably never happen in your lives. Okay? And if you do decide to study that and that's in your arsenal, good for you. But it's probably more so just going to be like you have it for a peace of mind. So if you're ever in that bad situation, I don't know why you'd be walking in a dark alley at night, but if you're ever in that situation, you at least have something that tells you, gives you some idea of what to do. So at least you have something there. So it's there for that. That's it. That peace of mind. But the message should be, don't walk in a dark alley at night. So that makes sense to me. The other stuff that I'm seeing on YouTube, where you're going to use assault for self-defense and it's only for extreme situations, I'm not seeing it, folks. I really don't. So I have to tell you guys, look, that's where, and this is fighting. Fighting is another thing that I don't see, unless you're doing it for ego. You're drunk at a bar and you're trying to see who's the toughest guy there. I really don't see the purpose of fighting either. Now, this, which is assault, and elements of this can happen in a self-defense situation. Of course it can. But to use these as the main tool, the goal is not right. It doesn't fit the situation. Okay. So this is where I say, not even this. This is something that I want to avoid. If I'm this close, it's because I messed up. Look at number 1. This is a bad position. I've already surrendered. This is a horrible situation right here. Okay. That's what you need to understand. Don't even let it get here. Don't even let it get here. And in order for that to happen, boom, and run away. Just like he did. Boom, and then, getting ready to run away. Right there, maybe he stayed for the second one just because he didn't know that, am I going to be charging or am I going to be, way too fast for him? He's trying to figure out when is the right time. Boom, and then take off. That was a good one. That was a good one right there. He could have just ran away, So this is why I teach the stuff that I do. If my student here decided to counterattack me, okay, so he's like, oh, you know what? Look at this first one. Boom. Boom, right there. Like, he could have been like, the bag is getting close to my face so that he could jam that bag, the defense bag, right into my face. And maybe he has something in there pretty solid, like a aluminum tin can or something in there, and he could bash my face with it. All right. The moment he does that, this is what I call worming. My arm can worm around. So as he's bashing me in the face, my arm could keep seeking a target, and it's going to find something. So I could end up stabbing the knife into his belly, into his thigh, between the ribs, who knows what. And none of those you want. I mean, any one of those can end up in a situation where the ER doctor's telling you, 1 more millimeter and you could have been dead. It could be that, something like that. You don't want that kind of gamble. You don't want that in your life. You don't need it. So why risk that? And so at this point, let's say, look, the exit door is way back there, and he'd run out this way, and you see all the furniture there. I would say, put the furniture between you and me, okay, and grab one of those cushions if you can, something even bigger and light and mobile. Give yourself a nice shield and start thinking about getting towards the exit door. That's what I would do. All right. Look, even back there, I could see there's a lamp. Maybe the lamp is a better choice than the defense bag. All right. Or why not have both? Grab the lamp and the defense bag. All right. And put your hands together. And now you got something even bigger. And one is more like a shield, and the other is more like a knife, or should I say an impact tool. All right. So those are the kinds of things that you should be working on and thinking about. Not counterattack. Not let me assault the guy. The idea of I'm going to attack him and I'm going to finish him, or I'm going to attack him so that he'll stop attacking me. There's no guarantee. If you attack him, he might fight back even more. If you attack him, the only guarantee that you have is that you're both going to be fighting each other at that point. Because he's coming in and you're gonna attack. Then that's all. That's the only thing that we can guarantee is that he's gonna attack and you're gonna attack. And then from there, it turns into a gamble. We don't know what's gonna happen. So, wow, I'm almost at an hour. At an hour. So anyway, I hope you guys were able to find this video useful. That's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.